Today, we're diving into crucial legal and ethical considerations that are essential for fair and effective hiring practices. It's all about ensuring fairness, maintaining compliance with laws, and building trust throughout the entire recruitment process. Let's explore the fundamental pillars that underpin ethical hiring, guiding our practices and decisions. These core reasons highlight why adhering to legal compliance is absolutely vital in any hiring scenario. First, a key pillar is to actively prevent discrimination in all aspects of hiring. This ensures that every recruitment decision is made fairly and objectively, without bias against any candidate. Next, it's crucial to protect candidate data, safeguarding personal information shared during the application process. This regulates precisely how personal information is collected, stored, and used responsibly by organizations. Furthermore, ethical hiring aims to actively promote diversity and foster an inclusive workplace environment. It encourages equitable hiring practices and ensures fair representation across all levels of the organization. Lastly, complying with these principles helps organizations avoid significant legal penalties and repercussions. This proactive approach prevents costly legal fines and potential lawsuits, protecting the company's reputation and resources. Now, let's examine some key equal employment opportunity laws designed to protect job candidates. These laws are specifically crafted to shield applicants from unfair, bias, and discriminatory practices during hiring. In the USA, Title VII is a landmark law that we must understand thoroughly. It prohibits discrimination based on an individual's race, color, religion, sex, or national origin in employment. Title VII stands as a cornerstone of civil rights, profoundly shaping employment practices across the nation. Another crucial law is the ADEA, the Age Discrimination in Employment Act, also in the USA. This act specifically protects workers aged 40 and above from any form of age-based discrimination. The ADEA ensures that older workers are not unfairly disadvantaged or overlooked due to their age. Finally, the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, is vital for inclusive hiring. It prevents discrimination against individuals with disabilities, ensuring they have equal employment opportunities. The ADA also requires employers to provide reasonable accommodations, enabling disabled individuals to perform their jobs. Moving on, let's discuss GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, and its role in candidate data protection. GDPR outlines core principles for responsibly handling personal information throughout the hiring process, especially in the EU. A key principle is lawful processing, meaning companies must have legitimate legal reasons for collecting any candidate data. Without a valid legal basis, collecting such data is simply not permitted under GDPR regulations. Another vital principle is transparency, which demands openness with applicants. Applicants must be clearly informed about exactly how their personal data will be used and processed. Data minimization is also critical, emphasizing that only necessary information should be collected from candidates. Avoid collecting excessive or irrelevant data. Only gather what is strictly essential for the role. Candidates also have the right to access their data and request its erasure under GDPR. This means candidates can ask to see or delete their personal information held by an employer. Finally, security and confidentiality are paramount when handling sensitive candidate information. Employers must implement robust measures to protect this information from any unauthorized access or breaches. Today, we're going to explore the various barriers that often hinder diversity and inclusion in the workplace. We'll examine the common obstacles that arise and understand their significant impact on fostering a diverse environment. One significant barrier we encounter is unconscious bias, which subtly influences our perceptions and decisions. This bias can unintentionally lead to hiring decisions favoring certain groups, impacting fairness in recruitment. Ultimately, unconscious bias results in a less diverse workforce, missing out on varied perspectives and talents. Fortunately, unconscious bias can be significantly mitigated through the implementation of structured interview processes. Another obstacle is a limited candidate pool, which restricts the potential for diverse talent acquisition. Companies often struggle to attract a broad range of diverse applicants, narrowing their talent search. This unnecessarily narrows the talent search, preventing access to a wider array of skills and experiences. To overcome this, it requires actively expanding recruitment sources to reach a more diverse applicant base. Now, let's focus on proactively building an inclusive hiring process, fostering fairness and equal opportunity. We will explore actionable steps designed to foster greater diversity and ensure fairness in your recruitment. Consider blind resume screening, which helps reduce bias by removing identifying information from applications initially. Craft inclusive job descriptions using neutral language to attract a wider and more diverse range of candidates. Actively expand your recruitment channels to reach diverse communities and attract a broader pool of applicants. Utilize standardized interview questions for all candidates, ensuring a consistent and fair evaluation process. Establish clear diversity hiring goals to guide your efforts and track progress towards a more inclusive workforce. Provide training on bias awareness to all hiring managers and team members, promoting fair decision-making. Next, we'll discuss critical practices to avoid in recruitment, which can severely undermine your hiring efforts. Understanding the negative impacts of unethical hiring is crucial for maintaining integrity and a positive brand. Avoiding hiring based on bias is paramount, as it compromises fairness and limits workforce potential. Such biased hiring significantly reduces diversity and undermines overall fairness within your organization. Furthermore, biased hiring practices can unfortunately lead to serious legal challenges and reputational damage. Another practice to avoid is creating misleading job descriptions, which can cause significant issues later. Misleading descriptions often lead to high employee turnover, as new hires quickly realize a mismatch. This practice also severely damages the employer's reputation, making it harder to attract future talent. Finally, ghosting candidates, meaning no communication after an interview, is a practice to absolutely avoid. Ghosting creates a very negative candidate experience, reflecting poorly on your company's professionalism. Ultimately, it harms the company's brand image, deterring future talent from applying to your roles. Now, let's turn our attention to the crucial topic of securing candidate data effectively and ethically. Always use secure HR systems designed to protect sensitive candidate information from unauthorized access. Enable multi-factor authentication for all HR systems, adding an extra layer of security against breaches. Regularly train employees on data privacy best practices and the importance of protecting candidate information. Remember to properly shred all physical documents containing sensitive candidate data when no longer needed. All right, let's wrap up our discussion with a concise summary of the key points we've covered today. Here are the most important takeaways you should remember for ethical and legal hiring practices in any organization. Remember, laws like EEO and GDPR are crucial for fair, non-discriminatory, and data-protected hiring processes, ensuring compliance. Embracing diversity and inclusion fosters innovation, leads to better decisions, and significantly strengthens your employer brand. Transparency in your job postings and hiring processes builds candidate trust and can significantly reduce future employee turnover. We must actively mitigate unconscious biases in recruitment by implementing structured and objective hiring methods. Secure data handling and breach prevention are critical for protecting candidate privacy and ensuring legal compliance in hiring. Finally, ethical hiring protects companies from legal risks and is fundamental to building a positive and inclusive workplace culture.